Welcome to Senior Talk with Ms. Bonnie, where each episode we explore the joys and challenges of aging. Join Ms. Bonnie as she talks with experts, seniors, and caregivers about topics that matter to the senior community. From health and wellness, to relationships and family, to finances and social engagement, we'll cover it all. This episode, Ms. Bonnie sits down with Chanda Wingo, Director of Franklin County's Office on Aging. They discuss Director Wingo's work with seniors, the role the department plays in the community, and the positive impact her leadership is having on the seniors she serves. So whether you're a senior yourself or just want to understand and support the older adults in your life, you're in the right place. I'm producer Chuck, and without further ado, Senior Talk with Ms. Bonnie.
Hi, my name's Bonnie A.G. Welcome to Senior Talk with Miss Bonnie. Let's begin. Our guest today is Chanda Wingo. After seeing her and listening to her at different seminars and functions.
I think we've seen her at the Senior in Tech conference that was down at the Fawcett Center that our previous guest with Anthony Qualls with All Right was a part of putting on. He was talking about it, but that's where we met her at.
That's where we first met her.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And after listening to her, I told the producer that we really have to have a conversation with her.
Like I said, we seen her at the Senior in Tech conference. And that's where you met her, and you guys hit it off, and you were having like the sidebar conversation. It was really cool. Because I told her that you were coming, and I was really hoping to introduce you, but by the time I saw y'all,
we were already talking.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool, there's synergy there.
Yeah.
And I remember how they brought her back out for Anthony and his partner TJ brought her back out for just kind of to give her her flowers. And when they brought her back, the seniors gave her a standing ovation. And like this rousing round of applause, and almost had to be corralled. And that was kind of testament to, like you said, her commitment to seniors and her
Director Wingo truly is a person who cares about our seniors and have no problem with hearing our plight, our pleas, or our complaints.
Yeah.
Under her direction, we should be able to, if we're interested in certain things, she can direct us. She can tell us where we need to go, who we need to speak with, how to go about getting in touch with them, and how to present yourself to them, whereas you get the best results.
Yeah, because that's one of the things that I learned from her is that there is pretty much an agency for every need that a senior may have. And it's not that hard to get in contact with the agency you need. You just have to you have to make the effort. If you don't make the effort, there's nobody that's going to come and knock on your door.
That's right.
We should pretty much already know that.
You have to do the legwork.
Yeah.
And they are there to receive you.
Very much so.
Yes. So, without further ado, let us begin our conversation with Chanda Wingo, Director.
I'm sorry, I always do this.
Okay.
This is kind of the thing. But I always cut you off. But I wanted to know from you why you thought this was an important episode to do. Even after seeing the way, why did you think this was important?
Because I feel that if seniors knew, the more they know, the more they can help themselves.
Yeah.
And if they know where to go and how to get there, it makes it easier on them. We have, we seniors, we have a lot of time, but we don't have our time spent wisely or getting the answers we know. We'd rather go to a neighbor who don't know nothing when there's an organization that can direct you without any problem or any hassle. Your neighbors don't know. Your neighbor's in the same boat you are. And I felt that if we were able to share, Director Wingo's ability to help us, it's just a win-win all the way around.
Yeah, and she's like reading through her bio, she's always been an achiever, a doer.
Knocks it out of the park.
Knocks it out of the park. She kills it. And she's doing it at the Department of Aging right now. Right. So if this is a sweet spot, because that just with anything in life, it ain't always been sweet.
Right.
And it's really, really a good time now to, You know,
Right.
if you even have an idea, we learned it was money set aside
Right.
that if seniors have ideas, if they want to do things like this,
Right. Right.
that there's funds there. Like you said, you got to go get them.
Yes.
Nobody's going to knock and
That's
hand
right.
your envelope like Ed McMahon and be like, here's your grant. You got
That's
to go
right.
get it. But
And
it's
that's
there.
okay to work for something that is so gratifying as if 10 people hear this podcast and 4 of them contact her, 2 of them surely is going to get what they need.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
Yes.
And she probably argued to be higher than that.
Yes.
But that's a good thing, and that's a beauty. But
Right.
okay, now I guess if you wanna.
Well, that's all I have to say. We're looking forward to speaking with her. Without further ado, we're going to talk to Director Chanda Wingo. Thank you. Have a good day. Goodbye. Oh, I'm sorry. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and watch.
Yep.
Hello, everybody. My name is Bonnie Agee. Welcome to Senior Talk with Miss Bonnie. Today, our guest is Chanda Wingo, who is the Director, Franklin County Office on the Aging. Before that, she was an Assistant Director of Operations, then the Interim Director, Franklin County on the Aging, and then the Director. Before I go any further, hi, Chanda, and welcome.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Okay. Before I start my questions, can you just give me a brief synopsis as to how somebody as young as you, got so involved with us seniors? It takes a special person to care for generics, geriatrics.
Absolutely. So I started working in our community at the age of 16.
Oh, okay.
I grew up here where I had family elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And at 16, it was evident to me that I was who I was because of the community. Grandmothers, aunts, uncles, everyone lived, in another city. So went to college, of course, and studied communication because I did think at one point that I was going to get into public relations. Ended up working for a Fortune 500 company, and I hated it. Mm-hmm. And I hated it because I was not able to deliver service to improve the lives of others. And as it would have it, the universe eliminated that position. Mm-hmm. And I took that as an opportunity to follow my heart and entered into public service. I began as a case manager working for Franklin County Job and Family Services. Mm-hmm. I held many roles there. And the last role that I had, I was pulled away for a project and my team had to step in and do my job. And miraculously, they did the job better than me. Mm-hmm. And I realized that I was in their way.
Okay.
It was time for someone else to sit in that seat. And so I decided to venture out and find a new service area and transition over to the Franklin County Office on Aging as an assistant director.
Okay.
And that's how I came to the Office on Aging.
Oh, okay. That was quite a journey, huh? Mm-hmm. My. With what motivated you to pursue a career in health and human services when you did serving the needs of others all along, and then all of a sudden, then you explain that in the brief bio you just gave us, but you stuck with it, Mm-hmm. Is it because you could see that what your ideas was helping them more than? Okay, because I read in your bio that you turned a lot of things around.
Yeah. One of my strengths is operations and service delivery. Okay. I also, as I mentioned, I have the heart for this work. Mm-hmm. And I know that the decisions that I make and the opportunities that I have improved the lives of our Franklin County residents. And in the seat that I'm in now, our seniors. Mm-hmm. But one of the things that I also recognize is that the senior landscape today is multi-generational. Mm-hmm. As I mentioned, in my household, I have my mother, I have my children, and of course myself. And that's a multi-generational household, right?
Oh, yeah.
And with having, aging parents, you get to see up front, when you make a decision, how the impact actually makes, a difference knew of adult protective services, but the community did not know that these programs lived under the umbrella of the Office on Aging.
Okay.
In addition to those two programs that I mentioned, we have a specific program that focuses on our older adults that are caring for non-biological children. Oftentimes,
Oh my goodness.
yes.
Oh, okay.
Oftentimes, a lot of our seniors are living their best, and I love to say it this way because it's just a reflection of life's work. They're living their best life in retirement. And at any given moment, some grandchildren or great-grandchildren could be brought to their home, and their lifestyle isn't prepared for that.
Right.
And so we're there to support and provide some services, whether it be beds or paying for after-school programs or things of that nature. We have the ability to provide that. We also have a program that is referred to or named caregiver that works with our adult children and family members and spouses that are providing care for older adults. And in that vein, to answer your specific question, we recognize that we have a responsibility to offer some education as well as make sure that the community at large is aware of everything that you just mentioned and more. So what we do is we sponsor a lot of programs. We are very active on social media. We even have seniors on TikTok.
Okay.
We have a newsletter that goes out to the community. So if anyone is interested in receiving information on what is happening in the community, that's also there. And it includes news articles, upcoming events. And so anyone that is curious or needs to know, I would recommend you give us a call.
Okay.
And we can share those resources, get involved, get on our mailing list to receive our newsletter. Because it's ever changing and there's so much.
Yeah.
There's not just one answer for any question.
Exactly.
And there's no cookie cutter model for any situation. So give us a call.
Okay. 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 Now, what role do you see the Office of Aging playing in addressing racial equality and inclusive for seniors in Franklin County?
That's a big one.
I know.
It's a big one.
Take your time.
So the mission, the mission of the Franklin County Office on Aging initially was to provide home and community-based support services for our older adults to remain in their homes as long as possible. And if we really think about that, 30 years ago, we had more seniors that owned their homes than we do today. And so aging in place looked different when the agency was established than what it does today. In Franklin County, as we all are aware, this is a very diverse community, and there's very diverse cultures. And just to give you an example, a couple of years ago, our primary or one of our ways of advertising was paying for advertisement in the Yellow Book.
Yeah, I remember that.
And that in itself, like today, where do you find a Yellow Book, right?
Nowhere.
And so that right there is a very basic example of inequality.
I see.
And so what we've done is, as I mentioned,
okay,
because you can't access the information if you don't have a Yellow Book, right? And so we're everywhere. Last year, we achieved a new high of 400 and more than 450 events. We're at school events. We are at health events. We are at senior wellness events. We're everywhere where someone is potentially connected to a senior. Okay. We are also taking a deeper dive into data and understanding where our seniors are in Franklin County, what zip codes they're in, where do they live, what resources are around there, because that is also another example of equality in knowing, who our demographics are and where they are. We also are a part of a larger body of work, which is under the Board of Commissioners. Okay. And the Board of Commissioners are very intentional in ensuring that our staff are educated in terms of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay. There's numbers of trainings and opportunities, and it's a work that is continuous. It doesn't just stop with a training.
Okay. Now, let's just say not me per se, but I've retired for like maybe 12 years. Now all of a sudden I want to go back to work. Of course, there's a program down on Broad Street that will help you. It's through Job and Family Services, where they'll help you, get your resume together, line you up with a few interviews and all that stuff. But what if I wanted to I didn't want a 40-hour-a-week job, but I just needed a little extra, and I liked my hobby. Or I liked what I used to do, but I can't do it on a 40-hour-a-week schedule. So how do I go about getting in touch with these different agencies that could provide senior, like sometimes they'll say, we welcome seniors, we want seniors, let seniors work at home, but then they got you working 40, 50, 60 hours a week, and that's not what you want,
Mm-hmm.
But you have to do that in order to get that little bit that you do need. Is there an organization through your program or in another program that can help us like that?
So every year we do fund on average around 40 grant programs, and there is an element specifically in there for work readiness. I don't have all of that information in front of me.
Okay.
But we do, and we are aware that there are many seniors that want to return to the workforce, whether it be their personal choice or whether because, financial landscape has changed,
yes.
especially in the example that I mentioned of being a caregiver, whether it be for a non-biological child or a spouse.
Mm-hmm.
And so, again, I would recommend that you give us a call.
Okay.
We are currently in the process of reviewing the applications that we've received for grant programs for 2024. But we do have a focus specifically on making sure that there is some job readiness that we're funding. And we work with these agencies and have a very well organized referral process to ensure that seniors are able to take advantage of that type programming.
Okay, what are some of the new initiatives you plan to introduce as a director of Franklin County Office on Aging? You have anything that, you haven't told anybody about and would be the first to hear? That must be a good question.
One of the things that we've learned, particularly at the onset of the COVID pandemic response, is that technology is critical. And having access to technology and what that means and how that can make your life easier and more effective. We are looking at ways to incorporate technology in ways that have never been introduced before. We are currently embarking on a system conversion for our case management system that will include an element that will allow our seniors and their families to communicate with their case manager in a platform that we're calling telecase. Almost similar to like a telehealth appointment.
Right.
But it will allow, family members to communicate with the case manager around the clock through chat or sending an email or anything like that. Whereas of right now, it's kind of limited because we're a telephone-based case model.
Right.
And we're expanding that. And I believe that offering this type of technology will allow us to reach more seniors and their families, particularly those that are being cared for and the caregiver is working at the hours that we're open. So I'm excited to see that come.
Okay. How have you leveraged your previous experience with Franklin County Department of Job and Family Services to enhance services at the Office of the Aging?
Well, again, we're all under the Board of Commissioners, so we are sister agencies. And it's almost like I never left. But I am able to work with those folks daily. One of the things that I was able to do initially is have Job and Family Services provide specific training to our staff around Medicaid and how Medicaid works and applying for long-term care and ensuring that as the case managers are working with families, they're aware of what documents are needed to get that application process started. We're also, we work collaboratively on a number of other issues around food insecurity and housing. Just in a meeting with them right before I arrived here today. And just strengthening that relationship and making sure that the Office on Aging knows that they have resources in our sister agency. If an individual needs to apply for Medicaid, or if they need to apply for food assistance, there's no need to fret, because we can assist in making sure that that connection is made for our seniors and their families.
Very well. Well, this is all I have. Do you have anything you want to add? Anything? Look at that smile. You can tell me.
Well, I actually love what I do. I could probably sit here for the rest of the day and talk about all.
I know that's right.
Work that we do.
Yeah.
We are a dynamic team. So I do.
Did you pick your own team?
We did have some vacancies. I've actually added quite a few positions. So we do have a number of new staff over at the Office on Aging. But everyone is there because they want to be there. They love this work. They love being able to provide for our seniors and making sure that, whatever we can do, whether it be provide a referral because it's not a program we offer, or making sure that we take the time to explain. We've done some out-of-the-box collaborations. I mean, just last year, we worked with AEP to do disaster preparedness kits and educational videos. Like, these are things that have not necessarily been considered before.
Right.
But when you think about what happened with the blackout of the summer of 2022, seniors that were not able to get out of their home or didn't want to leave their home were impacted the most. And so as the result of that, we took that information and that experience and developed this collaboration to ensure that there was education. We took that a little step further, and AEP came and educated our staff on how to read electric bills and what to do if someone comes to your door to offer you to switch to a new electric company. Because our seniors trust us. They're going to call us first.
Right.
And so thinking outside of, just what do you need to remain in your home, but what are those other areas of opportunity that we could look into to make sure that our seniors are safe and not taken advantage of, whether it was intentionally or unintentionally.
Okay. And my last question is, exactly what age group are you considered a bona fide senior? AARP will give you your card at 50, but you can't do certain things unless you're 55. And then, of course, for Social Security, it's 65. So what constitutes a bona fide senior?
So we are a levy-funded agency. And for the levy, those levy dollars, a senior is age 60 or older. And so that's the age where most of our services begin. Okay. Thank you so much, Ms. Wingo, for visiting with me. It's been enlightening, believe me. Thank you for having us.
You're more than welcome. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and watch. Have yourself a wonderful day and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
That brings us to the end of another episode of Senior Talk with Ms. Bonnie. We'd like to thank Director Wingo for sharing her knowledge and insights. If you want to stay connected with our community of senior citizens, be sure to follow us on social media at Senior Talk with Ms. Bonnie on Instagram and Facebook. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to our podcast for future episodes. Remember, it's never too late to learn and grow, so let's continue to embrace our new experiences and opportunities together. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next episode. The music you hear is produced by Jay Ross for Polar Entertainment and appears on his album Jazz Hop. You'll find a link in the description.